Hello friends, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel called Blast and the Past, and today I have another short DVD review. So this time this will be a DVD review of the film called Raise Your Voice with Hilary Duff. So without further ado, let's have a look at the content of this packaging. Alright, so here we have the front cover, and here's the back cover. Here's the spine. So nothing too fancy about it, but I like the layout, and you can see already just by having a look at the front cover that it's a teenage coming of age comedy drama, so a combination of two genres, and it's a used item, of course, once again. So let's open it, and what do we have in here? So of course there's this disc, and we have the likeness of Hilary Duff, or rather her picture. So she used to be quite a star back in the day. Anyhow, so that's it, basically. The film runs fine, thank God. The DVD is okay, in a pretty good condition, all things considered, so I guess that it hasn't been watched too many times. Well, Hilary Duff had her prime, her best moments in, I don't know, 2000 something, so it must have been already 20 years, or something like this. Well, time flies, doesn't it? You may ask, fine, but what is the motion picture about? So let's have a look at the back cover of this packaging. I'll just read the description, why not? Okay, this is my first reading, so it's a spontaneous review anyway, so there's no preparation. I haven't rehearsed it in any way, so let's hope that it will be okay. Let's hope for the best. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Well, figuratively, not literally, of course. Alright, raise your voice and don't hold back, don't give up. Terry Fletcher, Hilary Duff, is a young girl from a small town who has big dreams of becoming a singer. Following the death of her brother in a car accident, oops, spoiler alert, gee, she's torn between staying with her family or spending the summer at a performing arts school in Los Angeles. Choosing to follow her dream, she experiences a whole new world and way of life outside the sheltered existence she's always known. That's very succinct, I would say, to the point. Not too much to talk about it. And so there are no recommendations. Okay, so it's up to me again, I think, to talk some more about the film. Alright, so what can I say about this flick? So, first of all, from what I've gathered from the IMDb website, so it was supposed to be a Christian music film, and you can notice it every now and then because the protagonist sings in a choir, and she sings some Christian tunes and songs and compositions, so you can see some pieces of that every now and then. But don't worry, so it's not ham-fisted, the message. Actually, there is no Christianity in it apart from the songs themselves. And to be honest, I have nothing about those films, just to for the record, because sometimes they are really nice and they are uplifting and not mean-spirited like many films, especially nowadays. So I have nothing against this subgenre in particular, but at times they can be, like I've said, ham-fisted, so it's straight to the face, the message that it's sometimes too much. Like God's not dead. So I remember in that film there was this unintentionally hilarious scene when the protagonist was talking about his career, etc. It was a candlelit dinner in a fancy restaurant, and his partner, she says that she's got cancer or some serious illness, and he was outraged, and he said, "Don't interrupt me while I'm talking about my career," something like this. And so things like that, it doesn't go too well with a filmic narrative, if I may say so. But this film is devoid of any hilarious moments of this sort. And basically, it's a very nice, uplifting, positive experience watching this film, if I may say so. And the story is okay. So, once again, I love it when the plot is pretty maybe not dynamic, but when it has this natural flow, it flows easily from the beginning to the end, and you can summarize it afterwards, so you don't have to think too much about it, rack your brain. So what exactly was this film about? Yes, you don't have these kind of questions. And this story, it's a pretty realistic one, so it could happen in real life. Why not? People have big dreams. They want to be stars, they want to be celebrities, they want to do what they like best, what they know best. People want to fulfill their dreams, they want to realize their passions, their hobbies, and make a living out of it. And this is what this film is about, basically. To never give up on chasing your dreams or your dream, despite all the difficulties, despite all the obstacles. So you should just be like a battering ram. Keep going, focus on the goal, eyes on the prize, this kind of attitude. And this is really fantastic about those films. So, of course, they are pretty simple by nature, because this is sometimes what life is about. It's not the point to overcomplicate things, but this message which is in this flick, it's a very good one. It's like I've said, it's an uplifting, motivational, maybe also educational story. And there is a little bit of romance, there are some laughs along the way, so it's not like very stiff, it's not too serious, although there are some tear-jerking moments. Maybe tear-jerking moments, it's too much to say, but it's pretty moving at times. And what else can I say? So it's a very good film for people who have some passion for music, who love music, because it's not a musical, but there are musical pieces and compositions every now and then, because it takes place in a summer school. So there is this scholarship program, like an internship, and it's for the best students in the country. And those who are lucky enough to get there, so then they have a chance to win a full scholarship to pursue their dreams in terms of the music industry. And this is what it's about. It revolves around this plot, this idea that they get to train with the best teachers who have hands-on experience and who are devoted to their passion to music, to composing, to playing on various instruments. And of course, there is a variety of characters, personalities, and there's a very stiff professor with an accent, like a Russian accent. There's a very cool, down-to-earth guy. So he's like this typical professor whom everyone wanted to have classes with at school. Because he was so cool, he was so down to earth, he understood students, and he was speaking like normal language, and he was just a cool guy. Everybody wanted to have classes with him. Whether he was the most efficient one, it's debatable, it's questionable. But this is kind of a good-spirited person. And there are two more teachers there. And basically, so there is a little bit of romance, because of course at the beginning it's hard for her, because she doesn't fit into this world. She's from a small town, but she has big dreams, and she wants to keep pursuing the dreams on her own. And she needs to trick her dad into believing that she's going to live with her aunt, which she isn't, because she's moving to a big city. And so her dad is being fooled, but it had to be done. What else can I say about this pic? So Hilary Duff, she's a very cute girl in this picture, in this flick. So she's riding on her bandwagon from her Lizzie McGuire fame, because that was her breakthrough. When she started in that TV series called Lizzie McGuire, I remember that it was a big thing back in the day, just like Hannah Montana. So she was this sort of a person, this sort of a Disney Channel movie star. And that Hannah Montana, so now she's a real respected, reputable artist, if my information is correct. And Hilary Duff, so she's resigned from acting, I would think so. So she's not there anymore, she's not in the limelight, but in here she gives a very cute, nice, heartwarming performance, and she has a pretty good singing voice. I'm not sure whether it's remarkable, but it's pretty fine, pretty okay. And there is a nice chemistry between the protagonists, so Hilary Duff and her main love interest. What else? Of course, there is like the final performance at the end of the film, and the ending is pretty interesting. So it's not like a run-of-the-mill closure of the film. There is something, I know, whether unexpected, but it's great because it shows also the power of a friendship. It shows that the beginnings in everything, basically, they can be very rocky, very steep, but then you have to overcome the obstacles in order to reach your goal. And whether we're talking about a career, about skills, about education, about making friends, about relationships and spouses, starting a family. The rule is the same, the golden rule: never give up, keep on going, keep walking tall, and so on and so forth. So the film is worth recommending, not only to Hilary Duff fans, and I guess that there are not too many of them left. If there are some fans left, so they are in their 30s, if not older, because time flies. But anyhow, so to sum up this very short review or my opinion of the film, so it's worth recommending. It's a very nice, uplifting story. There is some nice music included in it, and just about having friends, about relying on your family, about being close to your family, about white lies that sometimes they are necessary in life, unfortunately. But they say that the end justifies the means, and very often people like to take it to extremes. But in this case, sometimes you have to push the envelope a little bit to get what you want, as long as the rest of the road is honest and frank. And like I said, the end justifies the means. Alright, and the picture quality is really good. So it's only a mere DVD release, nothing to brag about, nothing to write home about, but the picture quality is serviceable. So if you have a dirt cheap film, so why not to buy it? If it's like 20 pennies, so not even £1, and it's a used item, so it's nice to have it in your collection. So it's interesting that Hilary Duff was so popular at one time, but it was back in the day when TV series were not as popular. It wasn't the fad as it is right now. So there are big budgets channeled into TV series and productions. Even they feature major film stars from Hollywood. Like I've heard about this TV series Limitless. So it stars Bradley Cooper, who starred in the original film, and he's a big star. So this is remarkable, right? That big stars are turning to the small screen, to streaming platforms, to Netflix productions, HBO productions, original TV series. So it seems that the big Hollywood industry is falling a little bit behind. I think that we are experiencing something new. Like the Chinese proverb says, may you live in interesting times. We'll see about that, right? And apologies, I've just noticed that the camera is a little bit moving forward and backwards, so this is hilarious, but maybe it will add some dynamic to this film review. Why not? So I've forgotten to fix it in the settings, but whatever. To hell with it, right? By the way, a few words about the cast. So Hilary Duff, at the time of the filming, she was around 17 years old, because Lizzie McGuire started in 1999. I've done some research about that, and it continued until 2004, and this film was released in 2004 as well. Actually, at around the same time, maybe even the same year, so there was yet another very nice romantic comedy released together with this film, and it was a modern retelling of the Cinderella story, and that film was called, if I'm not mistaken, and not surprisingly, Cinderella Story also. A very nice comedy flick as well. But coming back to the cast, Hilary Duff is very nice in her role, right of the gravy train of Lizzie McGuire. That was the groundbreaking role in her resume, in her portfolio, because I think that she was very close to quitting show business. But then she got cast in Lizzie McGuire, and the rest is history, as they say. And also in the secondary roles, we have famous actors like Rebecca De Mornay and John Corbett. And Rebecca De Mornay is a very, very experienced actress, and she's had many, many interesting films, roles in her portfolio. So, for example, Guilty as Sin with Don Johnson from Miami Vice. And before that, for example, of course, her breakthrough role probably was Risky Business with a very young Tom Cruise. And she was quite an item there, if I may say so. And John Corbett, so one of his most famous roles is the one in the TV series called Northern Exposure, which ran for 5 years. It premiered in 1990 and it was finished in 1995. That TV series Northern Exposure, it was extremely popular at that time all over the globe, in many countries. And somehow I missed out on that fame, and I've never seen this TV series. I know how popular, how great, how fantastic it is, what kind of cult following it has had ever since. But maybe, never say never. There's too much of it, too many interesting films, too many TV series, and if you are a very busy person, so it's even more difficult. But like I said, never say never. Maybe time will come for the Northern Exposure TV series to be exposed to Northern Exposure. Oh, that's a nice joke, isn't it? And pretty spontaneous, by the way. Okay, like I've stated before, this maybe it's not a star-studded cast, but there are some recognizable names, which is always good, especially if the actors or actresses just do a good job. And Hilary Duff is really decent, very nice in her role. Somehow, surprise, surprise, I've never got around watching Lizzie McGuire. I know what it is, I know how famous it was, and she was at that time, back in the day. So it's hard for me to say whether she was good in that TV series, but if it ran for approximately 5 years, so I think that she must have been at least quite decent. And in this film, so she does her best. So she presents some vocal talent in here, and she's a very nice, charming, lovable teenager. And that's what her role, her performance is supposed to be, isn't it? So it only adds to the charm to the film. And there is a nice chemistry between her and her on-screen partner. And Rebecca De Mornay is also fantastic. Rebecca De Mornay, whoo, she is attractive, really, if I may say so. And Rebecca De Mornay is also, like I said, a very experienced and very renowned actress because she started in the early 1980s with Risky Business with Tom Cruise. Maybe there was something before, but that was her breakthrough role. And there, so like I said, many interesting positions in her portfolio. The Hand That Rocked the Cradle, Guilty as Sin, and later on, so her fame a little bit waned, but every now and then she's had some interesting roles or episodes. So it's good that there is country for old men and women, to paraphrase the title of the Coen Brothers films. And they are still being cast. So this is very nice. And by the way, I still can't get over it how young Hilary Duff still is, because she's in her 30s. She was born in 1987, so she's around 35 right now. So, maybe the door is still open for her in Hollywood if she ever decides to come back. Should she decide to come back? Because, she's a mother of two, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe she's focused on her family life and that career is behind her. Maybe that door has closed for her, like it was her choice. But you never say never. People start their careers or renew their careers even at a much later age. And for example, Gene Hackman started pretty late in his career, and he's achieved so many things that now he can retire in peace and have a peace of mind, just like Jack Nicholson. But Hilary Duff, so maybe it's not a Oscar-worthy performance, but it is very solid and it fits the film. It fits the narrative. So the cast is charming, the story is charming as well, and the film is it's a feel-good movie. So it's just worth recommending, really, especially with your family, because it's about passion, about focusing on what you want in life, about going into that direction, regardless of obstacles which are in front of you, about overcoming them, and these kinds of films. So I think that they are worth spending time on. Thank you very much for devoting these couple of minutes to my comment on the film. So I'll try to put some interesting pieces of trivia here and there, like throughout the whole review, and maybe some interesting fun facts from the IMDb website. Why not? And I hope that somebody will watch this review, and also then will decide to watch this film, because it's a very good, uplifting, heartwarming story, and it shows that you should always believe in yourself. You should have confidence in yourself. Sometimes it's very difficult, but if you love something, if you love doing something, so maybe in the future you can even make a living out of it. And even if not, so it's good to have passion, right? To have some hobbies, isn't it? Thank you very much, and until the next time. Cheers. Bye.